What's up, guys? We're going to try something a little bit different than we normally do, but we were just continuing to talk about Star Wars Resistance and figured, why don't we just turn on the camera and do the talk, and we can upload a video about it.
Yeah, just get our first reactions.
Yeah, even though we've already done a breakdown.
Well, you did a breakdown.
Early reactions, yeah, that's true. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah.
What did you think of the trailer?
First of all, let's just take a moment to appreciate that my hair is down.
You let your hair down, and we're going to talk about Star Wars Resistance.
If my hair's down, you know I'm getting real.
Or it's Friday and we're going out or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Probably that.
What did you think of the trailer?
I liked it. I mean, like you said in the breakdown, we knew this show was going to be a kid's show.
Yeah.
It looks fun. It definitely looks like a kid's show, but no surprise there.
Some people seem to be surprised.
Well, yeah. And I don't know if they weren't aware beforehand if this was going to be more geared towards kids or not. Because then maybe I can understand that kind of reaction. But otherwise, I think you're just being a little salty and...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
Kids like Star Wars too, and they need Star Wars content.
Yeah, like we've known since April that this would be a cartoon on the Disney Channel. Like that's kind of all you need to know about what this is going to be.
Yeah.
And I guess to address the people that are just, this looks so childish. I saw a good comment on Reddit where someone was like, let's look back at the Clone Wars Season 1, and we had like some really goofy episodes with Jar Jar, and I mean the Clone Wars movie, it's just not great. So people tend to judge these things on like, we've now seen 1 minute of footage for the first season, and like if you go, of course, seasons ahead in the Clone Wars, it's insane, the difference. Like Darth Maul's around killing Duchess Satine and doing horrible things. Like it grows up with the audience. Star Wars Rebels did the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. And I expect that Star Wars Resistance will as well. It's always going to be a kid's show first. It's going to be accessible to children, but it's like starting out season 1 and it's going to be a show for 10-year-olds, and then by season 4 it'll be a show for 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what the Clone Wars and Rebels did. So I think we can expect the same, but
so like maybe put yourself in your 8-year-old shoes and think about what you would like to see and whether or not you would be excited to see a show like this, and kind of like you said, grow up with the main character, because yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, this is something where I think if I hadn't watched Rebels, I would probably feel a lot like those people, because I said this in the breakdown, but I didn't start watching Rebels day one. I started watching it about halfway through season 1 because I was like, we've got the Star Wars channel. I can't just ignore this show. I was basically ignoring Rebels. So I started watching it, and at first I was like, yeah, this is really childish. I didn't like the art style. But once the Grand Inquisitor showed up, I was like, okay, my interest is peaking, and like it got darker and darker in season 1 alone.
Yeah.
And I was hooked. And then season 2 was, I think, leaps and bounds better. Every year it grew up more, and it gave me some of my favorite Star Wars stuff, period. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys know I'm obsessed with the World Between Worlds. I thought that was amazing. So I think Star Wars Resistance is still going to give us a lot of cool new stuff, and I'm so willing to give it a chance because I saw that I was wrong to not give Star Wars Rebels a chance at first.
I'm seeing a theme here. I think once a show gets bad guys with lightsabers, everybody likes it.
Interesting point. So, do you think we could ever see Kylo Ren in this show?
Maybe.
It's hard because we don't know the timeline.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying that that won't happen in this show, but yeah. I'm saying like with Rebels, you got the Inquisitors and Vader, and then Clone Wars, Grievous and all them, like bad guys with lightsabers makes it cool no matter what.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't think this trailer gave us a good sense of what the conflict will be. We know that Kaz is going to be undercover. Like, even his friends don't know he's spying. So he has to keep that on the down low. He's trying to figure out who's good and who's bad. So it's just hard to say this is the conflict. Right now it just looks like Resistance spies versus the First Order sometimes.
Yeah.
And I will admit that seeing how the Empire was treated in Star Wars Rebels, I felt that for the most part they were kind of made to be jokes. They weren't all that threatening, except for a handful of characters. The big bads of the season. We had Thrawn and the Emperor, Vader, the Inquisitors. They were more threatening. They got stuff done, but Stormtroopers did not. So it's tough to gauge what that conflict will be based on 1 minute of footage. But
yeah, I will say I did like the trailer, but a few people have said that we didn't get enough in the trailer, and I do wish that we had gotten some more introductions and names for characters and just a little bit more backstory. But then again, this is the first thing that they've released.
Right, they called it First Look.
Yeah, First Look.
It was a minute long.
I'm sure we'll be getting lots of TV spots and maybe like another full trailer kind of showing what the overarch story will be.
I think they'll probably give us another trailer between now and October 7th.
Yeah.
I'm still scared. Last year they put out the second trailer for Star Wars Rebels like over Labor Day weekend, and we were at Dragon Con. I couldn't do a breakdown on it, but I'm a little bit afraid that they're going to do that again, because that would be almost exactly a month out.
Hey, Star Wars.
Maybe don't.
We're going to be busy all weekend on Labor Day, so if you could just not put out anything, that'd be great.
Just once while we're, like, out. Could you be cool and not release a trailer while we're gone?
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. How do you feel about this show compared to Freemaker Adventures?
Oh, already, like, this is far more adult than Freemaker Adventures.
Yeah.
That was for, like, super young kids. And even then, like, that was something else that I think I watched that after the show was done, after the Blu-rays were out. Like, that's something I wouldn't have watched otherwise if I didn't have this channel. And that, like, was kind of a slog to get through. And
it was more, you watched it more out of curiosity and just to cover it, because people were asking if you had watched it and what it was about. So
yeah, and it had some redeemable qualities. There were characters on there that I laughed at every time they were on screen, and the voice acting was quite good. There was even some interesting lore in there. But yeah, and the thing is, there are things out there that I wouldn't read Star Wars Adventures if I didn't have this channel. I wouldn't watch Forces of Destiny if I didn't have this channel. But I recognize that those things are not for me. And some of the people that are upset about Star Wars Resistance now, it's like, it's not for you. Like, there are plenty of people who are saying, doesn't look like it's for me. And that's all they're saying. And they're like, I'm just not going to watch it. And like, good.
Yeah. And assuming if you saw this and you didn't like it, you wouldn't go on the internet and post paragraphs of reasons why this looks dumb. I'm not happy with it. Lucasfilm is lazy. Like, why?
It's not for you. It's like, either choose to enjoy it or just be like, not for me, and move on with your life. Like, those people, I'm like, it's funny now that I'm grateful to the people that just handle something that isn't for them with grace and dignity.
Yeah. This show looks a little bit too kiddie for me. I'm not going to watch it.
Yep.
Mic drop. Except I won't, because these are new.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, we talked about the tone. I mean, what did you think of the art style?
I liked what you said about it looking like Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The art style is pretty similar to what I expected it to be. I know we knew that it was going to be kind of anime inspired, and it does remind me of a couple other anime style shows, but I mean, I wasn't expecting anything on the level of Rebels or Clone Wars, just because, I don't know, I just wasn't, but I don't know.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. If you look at Rebels Season 1 and Clone Wars Season 1, it's a pretty big difference from how they looked at the end of their run. I think every year they get more budget and they're able to improve the style.
It could also be that I don't want to say they didn't have time to make it look better, but at the same time, they did need to get this show out by fall of this year just to have some Star Wars content out there for the end of the year before we get into next year.
I think this is the style that they were going for. I don't think that it was a time issue, because just knowing how far in advance they did Rebels, I mean, like when they interviewed actors about the episodes that they had done, and they're like, we already finished season 4 and you're asking us about like an episode early in season 3, and it's been so long. So I think that this is what they were going for. I don't feel like it was a rushed thing.
If you're ever curious about how far in advance stuff happens in the Star Wars universe, check out the Art of books, like Art of Force Awakens, Art of Solo, all those books. Because if you read the words in the books, other than just looking at the pictures, if you read what's written in the books, like I learned so much about how far in advance they started, brainstorming for Solo.
Yeah.
So it was like in 2013.
It was before Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What I'm kind of wondering now is, so where is this set in the timeline?
Yeah, good question. I imagine it's about 6 years before The Force Awakens, because that's when the Resistance started. I think this is probably very early days.
Okay.
And that they're like recruiting members. I don't think we're going to see a ton of First Order activity. I mean, I think they'll be well established, but they're trying to keep themselves hidden at this point.
Yeah, so his main mission is to figure out who are the good guys and bad guys at this Colossus place.
Yeah.
Which is like a shipyard?
Refueling station.
A refueling station on an ocean planet in the Outer Rim. That right off the bat, when I heard that in the trailer, I was like, I wonder if we'll see this in 9. And, in episode 9, they have to kind of rebuild the Resistance, and they may be going to the Outer Rim looking for places to kind of rebuild and get new ships and get help. And I don't know, it'd be interesting to see some of the elements of this kid show show up in episode 9.
Yeah, I think it'll probably tie in a little bit, maybe. I hope so. I mean, I just like that connectivity. It doesn't have to.
Even just a mention would
Sure.
be cool. But yeah, and I know you love ships, and I really liked the ship designs.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that in the art style, but I thought that everything looked great with ships. All of them flying around, I was like, this looks really cool. The faces, I think it's going to take some getting used to, but I got used to Star Wars Rebels, and if I can do that, I can get used to this.
Yeah. And I like that there's a lot of diversity, there's a lot of alien species.
Yeah.
Represented.
I do like that there are a lot of non-human characters, and yeah, that's cool. And that Klaatu character, I'm just into that guy. Like every scene he was in, he's like clapping for something and just smiling. So I was like, right on, this guy's gonna be fun.
And we've got the female character that's probably going to be kind of like the back and forth with
the love interest / rival. If I'm just assuming,
maybe I don't know about her being a love interest.
It was more he definitely seemed like a trying to get her attention kind of thing. She might not be interested at all. It could be like an Ezra Sabine thing where he has a crush early on and it fades away. But
yeah, I could see that.
Any other closing remarks? Oh, let's talk about the voice cast real quick.
Yeah.
Just because I'm excited for Donald Faison.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Scrubs fan. I've loved the character of Turk for a long time, and I know that Donald Faison is a giant Star Wars fan, so I'm thrilled to have him in the Star Wars universe.
He was at one of the panels or something.
He was at like the last screening for Star Wars Rebels. So
Yeah.
when they showed the finale, he was there.
Because he popped up with like a question, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they put a camera on
And
him.
everyone's like, what's he doing there? Now we know what he was doing there.
Yeah. Yeah, him, Jim Rash.
Yeah, Jim Rash, I love him.
That'll be good. And Bobby
Moynihan,
yeah. I can never remember his name, but yeah, the voice cast sounds amazing.
Most of them, I'll admit, I am unfamiliar with, but at least the supporting characters sound really exciting.
And we know General Leia Organa will be in it because she's got a voice actor, so we might see some scenes with her. And Captain Phasma, what do you think?
Yeah, Gwendolyn Christie is on the thing. I don't know if she'll be in episode 1. I still can't tell if that's her in the trailer or a gold-plated stormtrooper.
I think it is.
I think it would be more likely her in gold lighting.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, we already have Phasma, we already have Cardinal, and now we have a gold stormtrooper. It's like, that's a little too extra.
Yeah, I think it was just the lighting and how quickly that shot was in the trailer. I think that was definitely her. But yeah, I hope that she gets some good screen time on the show and they don't treat her too slapstick bad guy.
I think that she'll be treated more as like a big bad villain in this. I don't think we're going to see much of Kylo Ren because of the timeline. We don't know when he fell exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is soon after Bloodline, I would expect that he's not a part of the First Order yet. Maybe he is. We just don't know, but maybe he'll show up near the end of the series. I think Phasma will be treated with more gravitas. Gravitas? How do you say that word?
Gravitas?
Gravitas? I don't know.
That could be another reason why some people aren't super into the show, because there's no male bad guy represented yet.
That we know of yet.
Technically, yeah. Ooh, I would love to see Hux.
Yeah. Even younger Hux.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Just being cranky all the time. But
like he does.
But yeah, I think a lot of people have kind of lost interest in Phasma after episode 9, because in the trailers...
Episode 8.
Episode 8. In the trailers...
You've seen episode 9?
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. In the trailers, it kind of made her look like she was going to have a bigger story, and
the comic and the book.
And I got so excited, and she just fell assumingly to her death, and a lot of people have unfortunately kind of given up on that character, so that could be another reason why there's not so much interest.
I mean, I'm in that camp where I'm like, I'm kind of over Phasma now. Like, she had her chance, but yeah, the book and the comic I thought she was great in,
mm-hmm.
and then in 8 she just didn't have a good showing. So I think that if they handle her similarly to the way they handled her in the book and the comic, that we can kind of redeem that character a little bit.
But it makes sense if it's very early on in the First Order to show her a lot, because she's kind of the one in charge of training the First Order stormtroopers and all that. So that makes sense.
Let's go ahead and just go pure speculation mode. Captain Cardinal, do you think he's going to be in it?
I mean, I hope he is, but I don't know. I don't think so.
We know that we're getting that red TIE fighter pilot, so there's something there. That was in that blurry artwork that leaked.
Does that mean we know what that is?
No, it could be like a Red Baron.
You just said we know we're getting a red TIE fighter pilot.
Well, we do know that. It was in the blurry images that leaked.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen a red armored TIE pilot. We don't know that that's Cardinal. I'm hoping it's Cardinal. I'd love it to be Cardinal.
Yeah.
He's my favorite First Order character, period.
And he was only in the Phasma book.
Yeah.
So those of you
Give him more.
Those of you who don't know about Cardinal, he's in the Phasma book, so go read the Phasma book.
And he's kind of like a rival to Phasma.
Yeah.
I feel like seeing him growing to spoil the Phasma book a little bit. He grows a little more disillusioned with the First Order, and if he does that over the course of the series, I think that could be cool. But something that I really like about him is that he leaves the First Order in the book, the book's been out over a year. I feel like I can say that.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves the First Order at the end of the book and doesn't defect to the Resistance. He just leaves. And I really like that because we've had a lot of defecting characters from the Empire to the Rebellion, but this was just so unique that he's like, I'm out of the First Order, and a Resistance fighter's like, do you want to come join the Resistance? And he's like, not at all. No interest in that. Just get me away from here.
Yeah.
I like that.
It'd be interesting if he popped up. I'd be into it.
Yeah. But we've talked for a good long while now. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm excited. We're gonna do coverage like this on the show, so
yeah,
stay tuned for that. If you're not excited for the show, don't watch it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. If it's not for you, just let it go.
Yeah.
It's all cool. Like, this is one of those things where I mean, I'm excited for it because of Rebels, but if I didn't have the channel, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel otherwise, but I think it looks like fun.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to see more, especially about the story, but the shots that we did see intrigued me enough.
Yeah. So if you're not into Resistance, we are going to be covering Clone Wars.
Yeah, we're going to start
soon.
rewatching the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Still debating how we're going to do it. Leave in the comments if you'd rather us watch it as it was released or in chronological order. I figure it's going to be like everyone wants chronological.
Yeah.
It's just something inside of me feels weird not doing it in release order, but that's my own burden to bear.
Well, that's something to talk about.
That's my own weirdness, yeah. So yeah, we'll wrap it up for today. Let us know what you think about Resistance as well in the trailer, and let us know what you thought of this style of content, because it's something that we've talked about doing more of, and if you're into it, then we'll keep doing it.
Yeah,
but
give us a thumbs up if you like this kind of video.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and sign off. Follow us on all the places: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check out our Patreon and subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
And I just feel like
hit that notification bell.
Super dork. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.